Okay, everybody, welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to give you guys my sort of review. I guess you could call it, or I guess I should say it's more of a discussion of the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super. Okay, so now when it comes to this chapter review, first of all, let me apologize by saying that, the most that I can do with this video is this if you're watching it on YouTube, or I guess it's not going to be much of a problem if you're just listening to this, but if you're watching this, I'm sorry if this is the most that I can do. Originally, I wanted to have like some pages in the pages of the actual chapter in on screen, but I didn't want to risk it because I hear that Toei isn't really like they're not really big fans of you actually showing like actual pages of the manga, even if you edit them to make them, like more suitable for fair use. I hear they really don't like this, so I didn't want to risk it. So for now, I'm just gonna go with this, and maybe for the next chapter I'll have some of the actual pages on screen so you can actually look at something. But for now, let's just stick with this, and hopefully we'll see how this video does. And of course, guys, let me know your thoughts about the chapter in the comment section down below. And while you're there, maybe consider leaving a like, sharing the video, and subscribing, and clicking on the bell icon. That way you will know whenever I post a brand new video, including the next review for the chapter 69, whenever that comes out next month. So when it comes to this chapter, I'm going to be doing. There are three things that I kind of want to discuss when it comes to the chapter, and that's in terms of the story. I'll give you guys also sort of my brief thoughts on what I thought about the artwork for the chapter, as I like to do with most of my super chapter reviews. So, what are the few things that I kind of want to discuss when it comes to the chapter? Well, first of all, I want to discuss what's going on with Granolah and his, sort of dealings with the gang that we saw in the chapter. Oh, by the way, I'm going into this assuming that you've already read the chapter. If you haven't, please click off the video because we're going to be going into full spoilers. We're going to be talking about the whole chapter. So, I want to talk about Granolah and what's going on with him and this whole his dealing with the mafia gang, including his eventual revenge on Frieza. And I want to talk about the training between Goku and Whis, and I want to talk about that sort of conversation that Vegeta and Beerus had when it comes to the power of the gods, because we do get some very interesting lore in this chapter, and I do want to talk about that. And also, I want to touch upon the very last at the very last page, something that the Oracle Fish says. I kind of want to go into what that could actually mean. And maybe I'll do an entire video just solely talking about that, because I really do want to talk about what that could mean and what it could mean for the future of Dragon Ball in this, or I guess including this arc. So let's get the first thing out of the way. Let's talk about Granolah and what's going on with him. So as we saw from the previous chapter, Granolah now has OG73. Okay, and in this chapter we find out why he needs OG73. Now a lot of people have speculated that the reason why he needs him is because maybe I've seen some people theorize that maybe he's like an angel that had his universe erased, and he doesn't really have his power, and he's trying to get some payback, and because of that he's trying to get the angelic power of Mirrors that's in 7-3. Yeah, apparently that's been debunked. Yeah, it turns out 7-3 wasn't even for him. We find out in this chapter that the reason why he got 7-3 is because he was hired by this new gang. I don't even know if you could call them mercenaries, but they're basically called the Heaters. And they hired Granolah to get OG73s because apparently they want the information that OG73I has stored in his head. And we find out that their goal is to go to Zuno's place. So we do get a little bit of some connective tissue between this arc and the Future Trunks arc, because that was the last time we ever heard mention of Zuno, and which I guess it does make sense that they do want to go to Zuno, because in this chapter we find out that they like to deal in information, because according to them they believe that information is the most powerful thing in this universe, and that's going to sort of shift the balance of the universe. Whereas before it was who was the strongest, but now it's because who has the more information, and who has more information than Zuno. I mean, he is the guy who literally knows everything. So yeah, we find out what their goal is, and apparently, and they want to go to Zuno's place, which again makes sense. It lines up with their goal. And in this, while he was handing in OG73I, Granolah ends up finding out that Frieza's been resurrected, and he's happy about this because he now has a chance to get revenge on Frieza. And we find out why. It's because we find out that earlier we get a little bit of a flashback, which, based on how it was drawn, I thought it was drawn just brilliantly. Like, seriously, I gotta give props to Toyotaro. His art just keeps getting better and better and better as the series moves forward. If you were worried, if you didn't like the way Toyotaro, if you didn't like how the layout of his pages, how he panels things, then I can tell you right now that his paneling has improved dramatically. Like, it is like night and day. If you look at the manga now compared to how it was at the beginning, seriously, it's like night and day. It is beautiful. And I thought the way he paneled like that flashback, especially when it shows the like him being attacked by that great ape, which does look a lot like Bardock, or a lot of people speculate it's Bardock because of the scar on his cheek, which if you look at the page, you'll be able to see it. Again, I wish I could have it, on screen, but again, don't want to risk it. But yeah, so there might be a possible connection. It might be something that they're setting up in the future of the arc. Like, maybe Granolah got to look at what Bardock looks like. Again, if it is Bardock, after he reverts back to his humanoid form, and then maybe he gets a look at Goku and tries to get revenge on him. But for now, his revenge is mostly focused on Frieza, which I do think is, interesting and a refreshing change of pace, that the main antagonist, or if he even is the main antagonist of this arc, is someone who's just out there for revenge. He's not doing the typical, I want to take over the world, or I just want to be the strongest, or whatever. It is a refreshing change of pace to have someone who just has a different goal for this arc. So it'll be nice to see where they take this. So that's what Granola's up to. So he finds out Frieza's still alive, and now he wants to get revenge on him. Although he first acknowledges that he needs to get a lot stronger. So okay, at least he's not just going to go in, he's not just going to go in head first and think that he can take on Frieza, but he knows he needs to get stronger. So that's good. So he's not stupid. Already I'm liking this antagonist. Okay, because I hate it whenever they make villains, dumb. Or I guess technically he's not a villain, he's more of an antagonist. So whatever. I like what they're doing with him so far. Just please don't screw it up like you did with Moro. And also we find out something else about his race, these Cerealians, which, by the way, I saw one of the comments in my earlier videos. It turns out that is how it's pronounced. It's the Cerealians. That's how you pronounce the word. We find out that apparently all of them have their right eye is different than their left eye, because it gives them like insanely precise sniping. Which, by the way, based on how it was drawn in the manga, I can already tell a lot of people are going to make comparisons to another series, and believe me, I cannot blame you, because it does sort of look like something else, another eye thing from another series. I'll let you guys figure out what it is. I'm not going to say it here. If you saw the manga panel, you know what I'm talking about. So we do get, again, one thing that I really like about this chapter is we do get some world building. We get some lore. For example, we find out more about this race, this brand new race that just got introduced into this chapter, and we get to find out a little bit about them. And we also get some more world building when we get into what's going on over at Beerus' planet, which is what we're going to discuss next. So over at Beerus' planet, we apparently see Goku helping Whis catch the Oracle Fish in order to give him his vitamins. Now, why does he need the vitamins? It turns out he needs it in order to sleep, and then Vegeta asks Whis, like, wait, why does he have trouble sleeping? And apparently, according to Whis, when the Oracle Fish has trouble sleeping, it's usually because it's a sign, like it's a bad omen, which, if we've seen from this chapter, it seems like that might indeed be the case. And something the Oracle Fish says later, which again, I'll touch upon it a little bit, and maybe I'll go into more details about my thoughts on that in its own separate video. Apparently, okay, so he helps him get the vitamins, and then we continue to see a training session between Whis and Goku. And during this training session, we find out some interesting bit of lore about the angels. We find out that Goku, like, even though he's activated Ultra Instinct, it seems like he's still like not at the peak of his power. Like, he still has a long way to go, in terms of using Ultra Instinct. Whis tells him that so far right now he's at like the very, very at the very, very bottom when it comes to Ultra Instinct users. Like, he's nowhere near Whis, which again we already predicted. But we find out also that the Grand Priest's precision, according to Whis, is even higher than his, which of course again makes sense. We already predicted, but again, it just puts into context just how powerful these beings actually are. And then we also get another bit of interesting information when it comes to the angels, and that is that they are in a constant state of ultra instinct. Like they are just it's their natural state right now, which again we kind of already predicted, but that basically confirms that you can't sneak up on an angel, you can't take them from behind, you can't sneak up on them, you can't do a sneak attack. Just it's not going to work, which again just puts into context just how powerful these beings actually are. And so that's a little bit of interesting information when it comes to the gods and the angels. And then he asks Beerus, we cut to Beerus and Vegeta, and Beerus asks Vegeta, like, aren't you going to aim for UI? And Vegeta says, yeah, it's just not for him, which again, it does kind of make sense. And then we find out something interesting about Beerus. Like he says that, yeah, here's the thing, it's the ultra instinct is more of an angel specialty, like that's their specialty. But it turns out the gods of destruction might have their own form of power, and he even tells Vegeta that ultra instinct is not the only technique of the gods. And then Vegeta asks, well, what other technique? Like, what do you use? And then Beerus tells him, like, no, I don't train mortals or any of that stuff. Although I'm gonna head over there and I'm gonna train. So, and if you just want to look and you want to quietly steal it, like, hey, I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. Which I like this. I really like this. And a lot of I'm even seeing Vegeta sort of trending on Twitter right now, and I think it's because of this, because people are now theorizing that, oh, okay, what's Vegeta going to do? Like, what kind of power is he going to get? Is it going to put him like on the level of Ultra Instinct Goku? Is it going to put him? Is it going to make him even stronger? Like, again, we'll see. So yeah, a lot of excitement when it comes to that. Again, it's interesting to see what they set up here, and I am looking forward to seeing like how this gets paid off. I just hope it's not like what happened with the Moro arc, where they set up Vegeta like going to Yardred and learning this technique, only for it to like amount to like almost nothing. I well, not technically nothing. It did sort of pay off near the end. It felt like kind of a it felt like a bit of a swerve, if I'm being honest. It just felt like a bit of a swerve. Like you think that, oh, this is going to be the clincher. This is what's going to be what finally takes down Moro. It turns out no, that's not the case. It's just something else to help Goku take down the main villain, as always. Because why bother do anything new? So that's what's going on with Goku and Vegeta over at Beerus' planet. And again, now I want to touch upon this briefly, and again, maybe I'll do its own video just talking about this, because I really want to discuss what this could mean for the future of the arc. So at the very last page, we hear the Oracle Fish say this. He says, the balance of power of Universe 7 is shifting. The strongest warrior will soon rise up. Now, I read the Viz translation of this chapter, and that's what it says. The strongest warrior in the universe will soon rise up. Now, this to me is interesting, because we got like this sort of translation earlier, because in the translations that I saw from DBS Hype and the translations that came from the chapter 68 teaser, also it said specifically the strongest warrior in the universe will soon be born. That's what it said. It said will soon be born, whereas here in the Viz translation, it says the strongest warrior in the universe will soon rise up. So I don't know which one is probably the most accurate, but I do find it interesting that they said the strongest warrior in the universe will soon rise up, because a lot of people have speculated when it said the strongest warrior in the universe will soon be born, that a lot of people say it could probably think that it's probably referring to Granolah. It's possible, but at the same time, it is possible that this is a bit of a misdirect, like, because the way it was handled in this chapter did kind of make it seem like it was a bit obvious. Like, oh, it's possible, obviously talking about Granolah, or maybe it's a bit of a misdirect. Maybe this is a character we haven't seen yet, or maybe it's another character that we haven't seen in a while, and will make sort of their, I guess you could say, resurgence in their in this arc. Again, I'm just speculating. Maybe I'll do its own separate video where we sort of go into speculation as to what this technically means, what this statement could mean. if you guys are interested in that, just let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to do an entire video where we're just speculating about what this statement could mean. But for now, I'm going to close off this video. I'm going to end this discussion, guys. Thank you so much for listening, or thank you for watching. Again, I'm sorry if you just watched this screen. I'm hoping for the next one I'll be able to have some actual pages of the manga, so you can have something to look forward to. And maybe next time I'll actually script out the videos to make it a bit more streamlined and less sort of rambly, I guess you could call it. Alright, I'm gonna end this video right here, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Again, remember to click the like button if you like what I do here, and if you want to show your support for the channel, and also consider clicking on the subscribe button and of course the bell icon to let you know whenever a new video goes up, and of course whenever I go live, which is what I like to do a lot of now. Thank you so much again. Remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves, and join me for the next one. Bye for now.